Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cox Sports Television College Basketball Postgame Show. I'm NBC 10's Frank Carpano along with Vin Parisi as we recap tonight's URI win over St. Joe's. 64-59 was the final. Vin, a good road win for the URI Rams tonight.
No question about it, Frank. And in the first half, you had different guys stepping up for Rhode Island. But how about Delroy James, especially in that second half? The big double-double, 19 points. But most importantly, Frank, 16 offensive boards by Rhode Island. I thought that was one of the biggest parts of that basketball game.
Well, I know as we sat and watched the game tonight in the first half, you had some concern about Rhodey's shot selection, and it kind of showed there towards the end of the first half. St. Joe's dominated a 16-5 run to end the first half, with St. Joe's leading at 37-35.
Yeah, they implemented some things of the keys, but definitely confidence on the offensive end was something that Rhodey did not lack at all tonight. I don't think they did a great job of controlling tempo. It was a game of runs. Every time they got up big, St. Joe's got back in the game. They were physical defensively on the backboards when they had to in the second half. But I think the offensive confidence and Jim Barron having that trust in Marquise Jones to make big plays off the pick and roll down the stretch, and for Delroy James's freedom with shot selection was the key. But in the first half, Frank, it got dicey for the Rams. You had Aiken, who was 1 point shy of his career high in the first half, and Carl Jones averages 17 points per game. He scores it in the first half. So I could imagine that things were getting testy for Barron's club in that locker room at halftime. But in the second half, Rhodey settled in, and it was the Delroy James's show, inside and outside. When he's playing well, when he's knocking down perimeter shots, along with that slashing athleticism, that's truly when the Rams are at their best.
Well, he finished with a double-double tonight, 19 points and 11 rebounds for Delroy James. As you mentioned, a great second half for him. Rhodey doing a better job defensively on the two big guys for St. Joe's. URI had as much as a 9-point lead, and they go on to win this one tonight. The final score 64-59. As we mentioned, it was URI's third win in a row. Let's take a look at first half highlights. Rams looking for back-to-back wins. They traveled to play the Hawks in Philly. Rams defense started out a little slow. They give up this early dunk by C.J. Aiken. St. Joe's jumping out to an early 7-2 lead. But Rhodey comes right back. Delroy James slicing through the defense here. He throws it down. That sparks a Rhodey run, gave the Rams a 3-point lead. And the run was on. James comes down, splits the double team with a sweet crossover, finishes for the basket. Rams on a 9-0 run. They took a 22-12 lead. The Hawks would not go down without a fight. Aiken dominated the first half. A couple of thunderous dunks, and along with Carl Jones, it was a 1-2 punch. Jones from outside finished with 17 first half points. The Hawks closing out the first half on that 16-5 run we mentioned, and they led it 37-35 at the half. On to the second half, and Delroy James, hello Delroy, hits a three from the parking lot, then follows it up with a sweet drive to the basket, and the Rams jump out to an 8-0 run, and they led at this point 50-43. And just as the Rams start to pull away, here comes Carl Jones and the Hawks. First, this Aiken block on Richmond leads to a transition three by Jones, and then the very next play, Carl Jones picks Marquise Jones's pocket, and it's headed the other way. In for two, cutting the Ram lead to just 4. Game goes back and forth, but when the Rams needed a bucket, they put the ball in the hands of their point guard, Marquise Jones, who drives to the basket right here. This is key. Final minute, dumps it off to Orion Outerbridge for the bucket, and that ices the game. The Rams pull out the win, 64-59, the final score over the Hawks. As we take a look at some of the stats from today's game, we mentioned the high scores. For URI was Delroy James, and for St. Joseph's it was Carl Jones. Look at some of the team stats as we go over some of the stats here. There you go. Anything that jumps out at you, Vin?
I'll tell you, a lot of the stats are actually pretty even statistically when you look at them. I think it's how the stats came about. It's when the baskets were made down the stretch, when you needed a big stop or when you needed a big hoop. In crunch time, those final 4 to 6 minutes was when Barron's club really got it done.
All right, we have much more of the Cox Sports College Basketball postgame show coming up. We'll pick our offensive play of the game, defensive play of the game, and our player of the game is all still ahead.